Hi there, a very good morning. You're watching NewsX at 10 a.m. I'm Akshay Tandon. Our top focus against fears of how self-termed intolerance is hampering growth. India has registered a good growth in the last sector. Well, higher manufacturing output has pushed India's GDP growth to 7.4% in the September quarter as compared to 7% between April and June 2015. The surprise, however, was agricultural output, which rose to 2.2% versus 2.1% in the corresponding quarter last year. Stronger growth would be a boost for the Modi government, which has lined up a series of reforms in the parliament and affirmed government's view that growth has not been hampered because of the cases of intolerance. Well, let's go across to our executive editor Karthikeya Sharma joining us live at this point in time. Good morning, Karthikeya. This comes as great news for Modi administration, which has been battling accusations of intolerance in the country, has been hampering development.
Yes, good morning, Akshay. A bit of a reprieve, and I would say relief to Modi administration. The figures which this quarter have thrown up in terms of growth, the sort of the percentage growth which we see in the manufacturing sector. So yes, it's going to give them some, I would say, ammunition to counter the charge of intolerance, its impact on the economy, the statement which Mr. Rajan made. On this, I'm joined by Congress spokesperson Mohammad Suleiman, senior journalist Teja Chaudhary. Very soon we'll also have Mr. R.P. Singh of Bharatiya Janata Party. But before I open up the debate and get Congress spokesperson, can you please sum it up for us that today is the day when Prime Minister speaks on Ambedkar, Rajnath Singh sums up the debate on intolerance, and then you have this little economy figure coming up in the newspaper saying that we are doing well, 7.5. Does it help BJP, ma'am?
Of course, it helps the BJP enormously. It's like, ray of sunshine that suddenly in this gloom comes in. And the name of the game is the economy. After all, even the intolerance debate is, the argument is that it's vitiating the climate. Will investors like to come in a climate like this? So the economy doing a little better is good news for...
Okay. I'm also joined by Dr. Ashwini Mahajan, economist. Sir, my question to you is, despite legislative stalling which has taken place, or to put it, because of difference of opinion on major reforms, economy did not work itself out well. But what explains the figure which have been published today, the high growth rate?
You see, this is the result of the past 1.5 years of economic endeavor, which has been taken over after NDA government has taken over, about the ease of doing business, controlling inflation, and also efforts on the part of manufacturing sector. So if you see the 7.5% growth, we find the major part is coming from manufacturing. So it's mostly because of the efforts made by the present government.
So you're saying that the manufacturing, the good work, or the developments which have taken place in the manufacturing ambit is reflecting in the larger growth rate.
Yeah, if you see the.
Are you saying that, sir?
If you see the composition of the growth, you find maximum growth is coming from manufacturing sector. See,
it's coming from the manufacturing sector. Thank you. Yes. Let's go ahead.
Attempts on the ease of doing business, making the business environment better. So I think government should go on these lines further.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, coming to you, as a Congress spokesperson, there was a linkage which was drawn between the intolerance debate and economy. And now economy seems to be doing well, if not pretty well. It's 7.5. Do you think it's time to pass the GST in bipartisan way? Will it create pressure on the Congress?
You know, if the economy is improving and the manufacturing sector is improving, the issue of GST is different. We are not opposed to the bill. It is our bill. You know, Mr. Jaitley has always claimed that it is his bill. It is basically a Congress bill. And Mr. Jaitley, as a leader of opposition in the upper house, and the now Prime Minister and the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, as the member in the Committee of Chief Ministers, have opposed this bill very stubbornly. So as on now, they are saying that they are trying to pass this GST bill for a larger economic reform, and Congress is blocking is completely wrong. So I can say as on today that we are not opposed to the bill, as it is our bill and it is for a larger interest of the country. But certain provisions in the GST bill have to be debated, which the Congress party is trying to debate on, which the government was previously not ready to debate.
So you are
Now,
saying those three amendments need to be debated on the floor of the House.
yes, one more thing. What we are saying is that it took Mr. Narendra Modi and the BJP government 18 months to understand the healthy democracy and the debates which have to be taken place in the parliament. And now they are ready and willing and coming to us that let's have a debate. We will not go back on our demands of 18%, 1% and the GST.
That is non-negotiable, are you saying?
Non-negotiable because it is in the larger interest of the country. We don't want the consumer to be burdened by extra tax which they are trying to.
Okay, I'll ask you to hold your thought. Two questions to you, sir. One, does it bring relief to Bharatiya Janata Party, the growth figures which are being published today? And do you think that it is a sort of a critique that when the intolerance debate got somehow linked with the economic growth?
See, it's not a relief to the Bharatiya Janata Party, it's a relief to the nation. And it is a relief to all those who are thinking that it is on the right track. The nation is not on the right track and the policy is not on the right track. So this shows that last 18 months policy are yielding results and more will more help on the policy matters, including GST and other bills, will help more. Now coming on the question which they say that the BJP government is not prepared to debate. Other than the last session, well, before that every session there was debates, there were discussions, everything was done. Bills were passed. So probably the last session because of the Bihar election, there are political reasons, all that.
But he's also giving it that today you see a different BJP in the House.
Again, I'm saying it was the same BJP. Only last session because of Bihar election. I'm saying that because of Bihar election, they did what they did. Now election is over. Probably they should come back on the same steam which was there before the elections also. And I'm appreciating that. And today we have to take the economy forward. And intolerance is or tolerance. This debate is just a debate for. There's no issue in this. Like even yesterday's issue, of Mr. Salim saying that there's a statement by Rajnath Singh. But by evening, Outlook said that we wrongly quoted Ashok Singhal.
Okay.
So just picking up issues, nitpicking. You can't do nitpicking on issues which is not there.
Okay, I'll come back to you. You can come in. You know, ma'am, you have been part of our debates in morning for a long time. The difference which I see in this session is the sort of aggressiveness which was there between the spokespersons of ruling dispensation and the sort of I would say with the bitterness the debates took place. I don't find them either in the House or in the press conferences or even there is a provocation. The treasury benches are not attacking opposition in both Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha. What explains this substantial shift in terms of engagement, ma'am?
I think some BJP MPs were saying yesterday there is very clear instruction to them not to be provocative. The GST is a very critical element of the Prime Minister's policy, and they don't want, now that the talks have been initiated with the Congress President, with the other opposition leaders, they don't want the whole dialogue, back channel dialogue to be derailed. So clearly they've been told don't speak out of turn, don't be provocative. That they were saying. I think two things have happened.
Ma'am, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. I'm also joined by Meera Sanyal. Good morning, ma'am. The figures which have been published today of growth, economy, manufacturing sector, what explains this spike, ma'am?
I think what we're talking of is starting off a low base. As you know, the economy has been quite depressed over the last year and a half. So when you look at growth rates, you need to look at the base as well. Nevertheless, I think these are encouraging signs. It is a very good sign that manufacturing is picking up. And hopefully we should also see the index of manufacturing, the PMI, also pick up, which at the moment has still been quite low.
Okay, but then what explains this spike? Because the issue is that the unshackling has not taken place in context of legislations or labor reforms or unlocking of land. Despite that, this spike comes in.
Well, don't forget, we've just had the festival season. I mean, there is always, if you look at a trend analysis over the last several years, this is the time where manufacturing always picks up because people are festival demand. So you need to look at the trend analysis of what has happened in the past years, and you also need to look at the base factor. So if you're starting with a low base, obviously, then the growth is better.
Okay, so you're saying that one has to account for the festival also.
Of course. Nevertheless,
Thank you. Thank you for making that very relevant. Yes.
It doesn't
Yes.
take away from the
Yes,
fact
please go ahead, ma'am.
that substantive reforms are still needed. And we do need to see actual work taking place in Parliament in this session.
Okay, I think that's a relevant point. Thank you for speaking with us. Meera Sanyal, she makes a substantive point. She says that yes, it does not take away the fact that the efforts are being made, but the trend analysis in terms of festival and consumption should also be accounted for.
That's her view. I don't have much to say, but I want to come back to the point I was making. What we are seeing played out in Parliament is the Bihar impact. It has made the Prime Minister more consensual in his approach. It has made BJP leaders reach out to the opposition much more effectively. And you can see the confidence also in the body language of the opposition leaders. Congress, which was down and out for many, many months after the Lok Sabha elections, suddenly you see them a little more confident, a little more upbeat. So I think they are also playing their cards much better. That is what we are seeing played out in Parliament now.
Okay, so we'll have a. I wouldn't say that we'll have a lot of ho hangama in House today, Akshay. But to sum up this part of the debate, I would say that we will look forward as to what the Prime Minister has to say in Rajya Sabha on the debate on Constitution and Ambedkar, and the way Rajnath Singh concludes his debate on intolerance. I think those will be two high marks, and I think. I'm looking forward for that, but somehow both of them have been timed around 2 p.m.
That's right.
So I think that is one thing. That is one thing the political managers or the floor managers will need to time it. One before the other, but both have been timed together.
Okay, we'll leave it at that for a moment. Thanks, Karthike, and do appreciate our guest joining us this morning. We'll of course come back to you for further inputs. Let's focus on some other news.